Capricorn. How are you doing? Welcome to your 20 reading. I'm JJ. Thanks for joining me today. I already began to shuffle your cards. As we continue to shuffle, and I set my intention to draw one card for you from this Alchemy England Tarot deck, I encourage you to check out the general reading that I posted for 20 just a few minutes ago. Your card is. I encourage you to check out the general 20 reading that I just posted a while ago because it will provide the foundations and groundwork for this specific reading. So please do check that out first. Alternatively, check this one out and then go back and check out the 20 readings to understand certain references that I will make back to that. So Capricorn, wow. Your card is the Ace of, and I'm just taking time to admire this beautiful artwork. I'm also quite new to this deck as well, so let's work together with this one, shall we? I find the symbolism to be a little bit odd in the sense that sometimes I'll be looking at the card and I'll be thinking, are we talking about fire or air, or what are we talking about here? The symbolism in this deck really urges one to give it a bit more thought than usual. For example, we see what could be interpreted as the pentacle in the back, but it is not quite so. More so a star, but can easily be interpreted as pentacles. But indubitably, I'm looking at the fire which is roaring in the background, right? So what are we talking about here when we consider the Ace of Wands? We're talking about the root of all fire, the root of all action, which is very much in your hands, Capricorn. Now, I find this interesting in a number of ways, namely because when I think of the sign of Capricorn these days, I think that things are finally coming together for you. And that is because things are finally coming to completion for you, in the sense that many themes you have been working on for several years already that have come to pass are now culminating. And as such, you are reaching the peak of your creativity and heightened action towards that creativity. Contrary to what some people think, receiving an ace in a reading does not mean that it is less valuable than a major arcana card or has less power than the cards that follow the ace. Quite the contrary, because it is the root of the element of which we are reading for. So you not only have a chance right now to plant the seeds for further action that you want to take, perhaps take for something that has been building up to this point, but you also have the ability to manifest further creativity and further action, and therefore seed new ideas into fruition that will come. So Capricorn, you're in a better position than perhaps other signs. I'm not done reading for all of signs. I've in fact only completed Aquarius, aside from the general reading, which does apply to all. There's a mixture of people there that are having some highs and lows right now. I think Capricorn, you would be riding a high right now. And if you're not riding the high, well, then I beg to question why. Why? Tell me. Because Capricorn, you've endured so much hardship, right? You really have. The last few years have not been easy for Capricorn. You know, the world has been against or coming to, let's say, protest against material wealth, people in positions of leadership, which ultimately have material wealth. There's been a lot of tension. We can't deny this, right? Towards people in positions of leadership that ultimately have the power and the ability to help those that are in a lot more vulnerable situations. Now, I don't expect those people with material wealth to necessarily be coming to this reading, right? although some of you may indeed be in positions of power and wealth. And so I urge you to ask, how much have you done for your community in recent days, weeks, years? How much more can you do? Capricorn, you, for me, are the sign of Earth and Mother Earth. And with, all due respect, of course, to the other Earth signs, Capricorn, you're quite a powerful one. And leading comes very naturally to you. Accumulating possessions also, well, Taurus is very good at that, but so are you. And I also wonder how much happiness you've gained from this. And I think you're starting to perhaps realize that life is not just about the accumulation of material success and wealth, but very much more about self-expression. And what better way to express yourself than through the act of innovation and ideation and creation in its purest form, which this card very much embodies, right? So I want to bring that to the forefront of your mind, because I think that you're finally ready to take affirmative steps in your future, which it's funny because this has been something that you were working on for so many years, and probably got to a point multiple times in the last few years where you asked yourself, well, what am I doing wrong? Why haven't I hit jackpot yet? Everyone keeps telling me that it's time. But some of you have not really seen that. You may have fallen into a situation in your mind of doubt. You may have noticed people wander out of your life, despite always being there for those people. They suddenly decide to wander out of your life or walk all over you, depending on what your vantage point is. You have decided, actually, on the other hand, to be the one that cuts off people that have been taking advantage of you. Now think about that for a second. Why would someone take advantage of you? Why would someone take advantage of someone who wasn't already in a good position? Perhaps because you have much to give, right? But the decision lies with yourself, how much of it to give, how much of it to share. And you have come to the conclusion that you've given too much and that you've shared too much, and you've shared all this, but with people that, took you for granted. And look where it's gotten you today. It's gotten you to a point where you are so strong, actually. You're strong in yourself. Come to realize you don't need anyone. That the person who's gotten you this far is yourself. So the hardships that have been endured, previous years leading up to this point, when you think, well, what have I gained? You've gained everything. You've gained your integrity. And the more people become successful, actually, the more others who are not confident within themselves walk away from those people. Now, isn't that funny? And while you try to hold on to these people who may have left you high and dry, ask yourself, what did these people really want from me anyway? Why were they really in my life? Am I done serving them? Are they done taking from me what I was so liberally giving them? So, Capricorn, yes, you've been through hell and back, right? You really, really have. So you've suffered a lot, but it's not been for nothing. It's been for this pivotal moment now. And for the next 6 months, Capricorn, is your window to not just relax, but create. Rather than, stockpile and rather than, look through what's been done in history, enjoy it now. I want you to enjoy it. I want you to focus less on buying success and buying happiness, or, and I say this why, because again, I want to take your focus away from the material wealth and possessions, which come usually, because there are always exceptions, but they usually come a bit easier to to those that already have, the earth element very strong in their chart. So, and to wonder, how much happiness has come alongside that material wealth and material possessions, right? And realize that while that have occupied you up until this point, now is the time to really make use of your creative faculty, because your creative faculty is what will inevitably really provide you with the contentment that you have been lacking in such a long time, right? And that's quite beautiful. So enjoy that. Really enjoy that. Now, this reading is meant to be short because, again, I urge you to go back to the general reading, please, which will allow you to perhaps, build more of a context around this reading. When you go back to that general reading, I think you're going to come back to this one and realize that, ooh, yeah, you fared well. But before that, we will draw one more card from the tiny weight deck, which I had already shuffled, right? To perhaps, maybe build a story around this one card, because it seems a little bit lonely, right? So, and that is the moon card, and it is in the reverse. Now, I have a feeling that a lot of cards that I will draw from this tiny tarot will be reversed, and I didn't do that on purpose. No, I did not. It's just that it's very difficult to shuffle this deck, and I did notice mid shuffle that approximately half the deck was in reverse, so the chances that you get one upright. The moon card in the reverse, major arcana card, reminds us that no good will come from us shying away from the unknown, and that sometimes you need to traverse the unknown. You need to say goodbye to tried and tested methods, which you have so very much been successful in thus far, i.e. your work, which has led to your success in work, which has manifested itself in the material realm for you, perhaps in the manner of having a house, having a family, accumulating wealth in the bank account, whatever that may be. It will be different for all of you. And now, as we're talking about unleashing your creative faculty, is the time for you to embrace the fire within you, the creative ability that you have to actually take thought, an idea, and turn it into something very fulfilling for you. So that can look like poetry. It can look like music. It can look like video, creative production in some way, direction. You may have a hidden talent that we don't know about you, Capricorn. What does that look like for you? What can you do for yourself? For yourself. Yourself, right? But also, how can you help others in this time, right? How can you be giving of others? Others, not necessarily, people that you know, but the wider community and the wider society that may be lacking right now in many other ways, right? So think about all that you've gained and how you could potentially share that, sharing as well would be unknown. Sharing would be unknown. So that could be another way as well forward into traversing the unknown. The moon card, usually in the upright, tells us that we have a hard time essentially dealing with our emotional side. The moon card for me also talks very deeply about the unconscious, right? Which makes me think about Jungian archetypes and what it is really that disturbs us, which we often try to suppress because, well, a lot of excuses. I don't have time to think about what disturbs me right now. I'm a hard worker, money maker, family, breadwinner, whatever you label yourself as, right? I don't have time to dive deep into myself. These are all excuses. These are all excuses because your hidden treasures come from within you. And in fact, our hidden treasures are usually in the deepest, darkest corners of our mind, right? So I invite you to explore your deepest, darkest, and I invite you to set alight those deepest, darkest. Let them surface and use that energy. Use that energy to pave your future, which might look extremely different from your history. I wonder what that means to you, right? So let me know your thoughts. Feel free to leave me a comment. Feel free to like. And if you're new to this channel, if you hit on that bell button, you'll be notified every time I upload a new video, which also, shows support to this channel. So thank you so much for being here. Love you all, and I will see you soon, hopefully. Yeah. Much love. Bye for now.